Hey, I've got one of those charisma videos for you. You've heard the points 1,000 times. Just, can you give me the view for once? I'm sick of those other channels getting it just because they put up a picture of Jim Carrey. He's pretty charismatic.
A better you starts today.
Oi, Katoomba, Melbourne, Ballarat and Brisbane. Guess who's coming to dinner? And by dinner, I mean I'm doing a show. You really don't want to miss it. You really don't. It's mad. So safe me. But come on, I can do what he does. Come on, where's my 10 million a year? Now, it would be if you signed up to Jordan Shanks. I'd be making 10 million a year if every last one of you bastards did. But you won't, will you? No, you're just getting it for free. All right, fine. Fine, have it your way. Don't you think that this is the equation to charisma? I've talked about what I think charisma is at its core, which is you. That's charisma in a nutshell. It's just being able to let yourself shine. And if you are able to do that, good for you. However, I don't think that many of you will until you hit your 60s. I certainly haven't. I'm constantly sitting there being like, people are going to know that I'm a fraud. Well, you haven't figured it out yet, have you? So now, the point is, I think that other than the idea that what is charisma is that, and why do you want charisma in the first place? Basically, if you're a guy, for the pussy and nothing else, just slamming pussy and then like Kanye, having sex with their mum at the same time. Other than that, that's, well, you know, is Kanye charismatic? He just seems like a psycho bum now, doesn't he? Like, dude, he even dresses like a homeless man. What? I didn't even think he was that charismatic. I didn't like him before it was cool. I was into the real artists of our time, okay? Like Ludacris and Young Dro. Dro is another word for hydro, which is another word for weed. There you go. Take that home, stoners. You got something out of this video too. But I think that charisma, generally, is the ability for your character, like it just comes from the word character, yeah? Charisma, character. It comes from your ability to be authentic. That's the main point. That is the main point. The main point is, even if you are a charmless bastard, but you are a charmless bastard in your own right, nobody has this kind of like, yeah, I've got that smile that creepy pedos have. I'm definitely not hiding anything. Yeah, no, I just decided to quit as a teacher at 40. It's just, yeah, right? Like, that is... I don't know why I was just impersonating that for so long. I was just thinking about a guy that was telling me a story of, like, that happening in a bar. It was like... Because that is the exact opposite of really... Like, as soon as people get the impression, even the inkling that you are not being true to yourself, they click off. When people say I'm highly charismatic, even though I basically have DID, like I just flip in and out of character all the time, it's just because I am a natural performer. When I am not being performative, that is when I'm being performative. Like, I've noticed this over the years. Every time I ever go back and watch a stand-up show, and I am just trying to be like, I'm just going to be myself. It's just like I'm acting being myself. Naturally, what I do is just a bunch of stupid Looney Tunes voices. That's how I go through life. That's just naturally how I do it. So, people sense, regardless, like if you are one of those personalities, or if you are like naturally a chameleon-y person that does just naturally change personality when you are around people, this is not to say that that isn't you. But it might not be you. I hope this has been a helpful video. The other thing that I think would be helpful is if I got to the actual point. Oh, we're going to go pretty early this time, really, 4 minutes in. But, all right, other than the idea that charisma, and you should be writing this down, by the way, because this will definitely help you get laid in life. And on top of that, help you with everything else that you want. What happens to charismatic people? Things are just naturally drawn to them. What happens to people with no charisma? Things are repelled. It's as simple as that. Charisma is a word for drawing. It's a very drawing power, and it does have that X factor that people always think, oh, some people have it and some people don't. Some people definitely have it. Some people definitely have it, don't they? And one of the elements of it is definitely the authenticity factor. And I think that just you understanding that you being you is about as charisma-y as you can possibly be makes the rest of your life pretty easy, doesn't it? In fact, it reminds me of this rap lyric that I can't remember the guy that wrote it. But because it's a genius rap lyric, I'm going to suggest that it was Soulja Boy. Soldier Boy must have said this, but he said, the hardest thing in the world to be is not yourself. It's true, isn't it? And yet, let's be honest, we're always pretending to be someone else. Don't you think that every time you go up to a corner store or something, there's just this response of like, yes, $5, please, thank you, goodbye. Have you ever noticed that when you don't do that and you go up and you are just sort of yourself, and you could be saying exactly the same thing, but if I just walked up, this is how I would say it. I'd be like, $5, thank you. Yeah, cheers, mate, thanks. Just do, like, that is just how I naturally act. And then you can see somebody just like, meh. Because that's authentic. That's authentic. And the thing is, what's really scary about this is charismatic people, as much as they say, yes, there are FDR types and stuff in the world, yes, there are. There are people that are just naturally very drawing, and most people are going to sit there and they think, yes, they're nice people. That's something that is also within your changeability factor, right? But like generally when people are being themselves, they're only going to be charismatic to a certain percentage of the population, and other people are just going to sit there and think like, I hate that person. But the point is, it is better to be loved than to be liked. And to be loved, you have to risk being hated. But hate and love are pretty close, right? Right? Yeah. Anybody that knows that they've just been like, calling the same chick for the next 2 years until they finally relate and be like, all right, I'll fucking date you. The key's persistence. That is how you are going to address the first point. The first point is that you are always going to be trying to unravel yourself like that Buddha that was covered in mud, and then they finally got it away and realized it was a golden statue. That is a big portion of your life's journey, is just getting more comfortable in your own skin. That's how you do it, though. You understand that one drawing X factor that you think like, oh, if I pretend to be like this, that happens from you not thinking about that. Isn't it ironic? Yes, it is. Thank you. Good point as always, Jordan. Now, the second one is, and I really think that this is a very good summary of what charisma is. Let's go through it. And I've written down like some little notes for it as well. Presence, power, and warmth. That's charisma. That's charisma. Presence, power, and warmth. That is charisma. You want a equation to it as opposed to like a state of being. Presence, power, warmth. Now, I've got a lot of ample things in this because naturally I'm not a very warm person. Well, I am and I'm not. I think I'm a very generous person, but I'm also like very standoffish and just like, you're trying to rat me over, aren't you, little like I've got that like, what do you want kind of attitude to everybody that I've ever met. What I've noticed is every time I'm on stage and I'm kind of just like, in my natural state is being quite pissed off all the time. And I have a quite pissed off natural face, as I've talked about 1,000 times. It's just having that Yugoslav, like, you just have these downturned eyebrows. It looks sexy. It looks broody. But it also basically scares every woman away because they sit there and they're just like, holy he's one of those, And so, it has always been a bad trait of mine, constantly. I am not a warm person. I think that I am a powerful person. I think that I am able to command a room, and I don't think I'm very present either. Those two things I've had to work on a lot in my life, the warmth and the presence, and they do not come naturally to me. But let's just read about what presence says. As soon as you're not present in a social interaction and you lose it, if you focus on your toes, you can level up your charisma instantly. That's one of the main tricks that I've always used just before going on stage. If I feel like that I'm running ahead of time and I'm not focusing on what is in front of me, right? Every time you are ever present in a room full of strangers, even if you say nothing, they're going to like you a lot. As soon as you're racing ahead, they will start getting scared because you're scared. And you're the focus of attention. So they're just going to be like, and the whole point is to give them a good time. That's the product. The product is to give them a good time. Anyway, anytime that you're ever doing a meeting, anytime that you're ever doing anything, you need a quick picking up of where you are. Look, I can feel it right now. I know I've talked about this before. Something else that I've talked about is the fact that I give away 3 of these extra videos behind my paywall, Jordan Shanks, a week. Everybody that signs up to it says that it is a great, great program. And why? Because I am constantly giving you shortcuts so that you are more efficient, that you are better at getting the things that you want in life. You owe it to yourself. I think that everybody really does. Everybody should have someone in their life that is constantly saying, here's the high octane stuff. Here's the stuff that if you focus on this, you're going to get better results. Way better results than the average population that doesn't focus on it. Now, we'll go back to this. Sign up. I lied. Warmth, power, presence. Warmth, power, presence. How do you get the warmth? What's the big key that you get every time you go to warmth? Well, every time that you ever go on stage or any time that you ever need that charisma boost, so you get your presence. I'm giving you the simplest, quickest tools possible here. You wiggle your toes. That's it. That's it. That's how you remain present. There's something about it. I'm doing it right now where you're like, yeah, I'm here. I'm here. Like I'm doing it as we speak. And it is freaking me out how present you become. Do it right now. Do it while you're watching me, you Just do it. Just do it. Oh, we're all here together, aren't we? Then I want you to remember that when you are trying to adopt warmth, what are you doing? You are reminding yourself of loved ones. You are reminding yourself of pets that you love. You're reminding yourself of people that you love. You want to go all crazy. You might even remind yourself of your long life partner. Imagine that. You remind yourself of people that you love. Why? Because when you go out on stage or you go out in that thing and you have that familiarity, the warmth comes naturally, doesn't it? You are warmth around people that you like. This is the drawing aspect of charisma. Charismatic people are the ones that are always giving the initial bit of, I like you. Before you've even opened your mouth, it's just like, nope, you're not going to be judged by me. You're a legend. That is going to make you magnetic, because most people, when they meet someone, what is their original intent? Because we're chimps, we're just like, is he going to kill me? So that's your first thing. Fear, followed by like suspicion. These are all very hateful, bitter, fear-fueled emotions that we are, pathetic little apes. So that is the first thing that you get. Some people just naturally have that. Some people, I definitely don't. So I'm extremely weary of everyone that I ever meet. I am a pathetic, sad little chimp goblin in the back of a cave. Are you a saber-toothed tiger? No. Well, better chuck a rock at you just in case. No, he wasn't wearing a costume. Don't even know what that is. This is 15,000 BC. So next, power. How do you get power? It is a idea called stifling. Now, I should probably do a whole video on stifling, but I'm running late anyway. Stifling. This is stifled. This is someone who is stifled. My name's Justin, and I'm doing accounting at some university. What? University. Speak up. I'm studying at university. You can always hear them kind of retracting in. You can feel their whole body being tense. Every time that I've ever seen myself bomb on stage, it is because there is no power. Power is not the same as loudness. Sometimes when I'm bombing on stage, I'm being really loud because I'm overcompensating. Power is, there is a force coming out of you sort of effortlessly. That's where you want to be. And you can always check that by how stifled you are. I think naturally, I'm not a very stifled person. So many people are, because you can always hear those wavers in people's voices when they speak. I'm talking about that. I very rarely ever do that. I just open my mouth and enunciate. But most people would never be able to do what I just did then. That's why I'm a genius, right? Because I'm a loudmouth that is very confident in my own opinions. But they can't. They can't do that. Why can't they do that? That is the big question. Why can't they do it? Because they are recoiling within. There is no power coming from without. They are scared. Do you think that... think about this for a second. Is a charismatic person scared? No, they are effortlessly pushing energy out. So, how do you do it? I think that any time that you enter a room, these are the 3 traits that you should be doing. Wiggling your toes, thinking about loved ones, and then just checking your voice. Just talking and seeing if you can feel like tenseness in it. And if it is, then you have to relax that out. You have to imagine that your like windpipes are just kind of like flowing gently, that everything is just happening effortlessly. That's true power.